Welcome back to Eat the Fucking Food. Today I have the perfect guest for you if your idea of logging and tracking your food scares the hell out of you. Or if your previous experience with tracking has left you so traumatized that your initial impulse is just skip this episode altogether. Please don't do that. It is going to be really, really good. Her name is Laura Savino, and she just might be the answer to all your hopes and also might alleviate your fears when it comes to learning more about how to actually feed yourself so you can thrive rather than just survive. In this episode, we are going to talk about tracking and why it can be the answer to your prayers rather than this horrible thing you have to do. We are going to talk about maintenance and why it is so important to understand exactly what that is and what a gift it could be when you finally start eating so you can thrive rather than just survive. Laura is going to tell you why using actual facts helps take the emotion, especially the negative emotion, out of your body recomposition journey. Isn't that what we all want? Not to be so triggered when it comes to food. Yes. So stick around, listen, and let's get to the interview with Laura Savino. Laura, thank you so much for coming on Eat the Fucking Food. I'm so excited to have you here. And as we briefly talked about, I love how you have normalized tracking your food and using data to take the emotion out of nutrition in food because so many women my age in my mid 50s have only looked at tracking as a way to eat less and be restrictive. I think the question I want to start with first is I'm sure someone heard me talk about, we're going to talk about tracking today and went and turned this off right away because they've only done the Weight Watchers and the Slim Fast and all that. So to that woman, what would you say the reason why she should start tracking would be?
The number one most empowering thing you can do is learn how much food you can eat, not try to figure out how the least you can
Mhm.
survive on. And when we use tracking as a wow, I can eat 2,000 calories a
Mhm.
day, 22, 23, it can be one of the most empowering things because, especially as females, we have like the short term memory of a goldfish. I will remember what my husband said to me 7 years
Mhm.
ago, but like how many pieces of chocolate I had last night? And so when we start tracking our food and going, oh, what do I do on a weekly basis? Oh, why did I feel like shit today? Like, oh yeah, it's because I had no water yesterday. I was not taking care of myself. And so using tracking as a tool to open your eyes to how much better you can feel when you eat at maintenance for the first time. And many women misconstrue what maintenance is too. And so, like, if you've only ever used it for fat loss, if you've only ever used it, be like, okay, I open it up and it's at 1,200, 1,400 calories, agreed, I would feel awful. I would never want to do that thing because every time I open it, it feels impossible to hit those numbers. But what so many clients find is that, one, they never even have to diet at 12, 13, 1,400 calories, but they just didn't know how to track and be consistent at maintenance enough to find what those deficit calories were. And so digging deep Monday through Thursday at 1,200 calories and then throwing in the bucket Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then starting all over again on Monday is what the pattern has come through. And people go, hey, like, well, let's just take an advantage. So I will say, Kristin, I think you and I probably both do the same way. It's like, we're not even going to give you a target. Just try a track weekend. And the amount of clients I'll see come through who are trying to eat 13, 14 Monday through Thursday, but 27, 28 Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because the bucket came around, they're like, oh my God, I was so stressed at work. 3 o'clock on Friday, I got home and it was like a pantry decimation came through. And it's like, oh, the Bobo bites are gone, the Doritos are gone, I had a few pieces of chocolate, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that was 1,000 calorie just catastrophe that just happened. But we tracked it. We're like, hey, okay, well, wait a minute. Well, now we're averaging 2,000 calories a week. Why don't we just try eating 2,000 calories and take the average? And we take all that data. Right now, your mindset coming into this, like, I'm eating 1,500 calories, I can't lose weight. My mindset when I look at your data is like, well, you're averaging 2,000 calories a week, and you kind of feel like shit on the weekdays, and then you don't feel like great about yourself on the weekends. What if we just try 2,000 calories a day and see what happens? And like that, if we can make that one change in your tracking journey, it opens up a realm of possibilities in your journey.
Okay, I have two questions based on what you just said. I'm so excited. The first one, I love how you talked about like we're under eat. So many women come in and you're under eating for so many days, and then like the bucket comes out, People look at weekends as only 2 days, but sometimes it's Thursday night through Sunday, if not Monday morning, right? It's
Yep.
25% of your week, if not more, if not like 34%. I'm not a big man. You're the nerdy nutritionist. I'd rather write a paper about food than do all the numbers. So let's touch on maintenance, because I have found that word scares the hell out of women. And for me personally, it has been the greatest gift given to me, because we talk about you feel like shit because so it's like, I want to talk about maintenance. Let's go there first.
Yes. So maintenance is a couple things here. One, it's how do I in my EPN
Yes.
definition. So I should
Explain what
probably preface
EPN
this.
is and
Maybe
also say what
yeah,
EP.
EPN is our nutrition
Yes.
company. It stands for Elevated Pursuit
Yes.
Nutrition, and because I talk so fast, I just turned it into
No,
a.
it's perfect. Love it.
My philosophy here at EPN is maintenance is where you eat the most but feel your best. So we're maintaining weight within like a 3 to 5 pound weight range. You have 100, maybe 200 calorie range of calories that you're
Mhm.
sitting in, and your biofeedback is good. Like really important here. So
So,
yes, I just said
yeah.
maintaining weight. Yes, I just said a calorie range, but also we are sleeping well. Our energy is good in the gym. We are being able to get through our day well. Hunger isn't super present all the time. It should be like, oh, I ate breakfast. I was satisfied. Got a little hungry before lunch. Ate lunch. Satisfied. A little hungry before dinner. Satisfied. And a lot of the food noise that creeps in shouldn't be there. And so it's not just maintenance isn't just a calories number that you live at. It is also a way you eat in order to check those energy boxes, the sleeping well boxes, the stress management boxes. So it's a little more of a holistic number, but we use data to drive the decision making to get to that.
When I was going through some of my certifications, they talk about a calorie. And we've been taught cut calories, and calories have been like the enemy of Gen X women since, I remember friends being on Weight Watchers like in 7th grade, right? And it came out, it was like that a calorie is a unit of energy. And I was like, and we're taking our energy away. And it was one of those moments that you knew it, but it finally like hit you right in the heart or the gut. Like I got to say and be like, oh my God, why aren't we teaching women to eat? We're just teaching them how to diet. And there's a
Correct.
whole bunch of, stuff behind that. We won't get into that. So if you have a client coming to you and you're talking maintenance, because this is the other thing I love about you guys over at EPN, is people have to do maintenance before they do fat loss, right? And this
Yes.
podcast, so why is that critical?
So here's the deal. It's like, I would say most people coming to us are not bad at fat loss. They have done the Weight Watchers, they've done the paleo, they've done the Whole30, they've done every 75 hard or 75 soft. You guys have lost 10, 15, 20 pounds before. Multiple times, more likely. But the issue, why you're signing up with Kristen or I, is I can't keep it off. I don't want to keep doing the same things I've been doing before. And so people generally don't have a fat loss problem. They have a maintenance problem because they don't know how to eat in a regular eating pattern that allows them to maintain their results. And sometimes it's that they just, one, never developed those patterns, or two, they didn't develop the lifestyle change to maintain their new identity at this like 10 to 15 pounds. So they do something crazy for 6 weeks, 12 weeks, and then they expect to go back to the pizza and beers on Friday and don't understand why that creeps back. And so there's a couple things that go into it, but understanding how to maintain and build that foundation. So you go in, you're like, okay, I know exactly. And it feels scary, and it feels like, well, why am I doing this? Because I'm not making progress. But the thing that I tell our clients, I don't want you to sign up with me to lose the 10, 15 pounds twice. We're doing this once. And the way we do it once is that you learn how to do maintenance the first time so that when we go back, when we come out of that fat loss phase, you already know how to do it. We're like, oh. So that maintenance requirement is that you learn how to eat in a blueprint that works for you, that you understand what it feels like to feel good. Because I think a lot of people don't, it's like the dirty windshield. They've lived so long in these like low calorie Monday through Thursday, high calorie weekends, that they don't recognize how much better it feels. Like we had a client recently go, wow, I didn't realize, but like last week I stopped pulling an energy drink out of the fridge at 2 o'clock. I realized that they're still sitting there. It's been like 8 days, and that's because I finally started eating enough at breakfast. But she was trying to keep like this 200 calorie breakfast and a 300 calorie lunch, and then she was dragging and pulling an energy drink out of the fridge at 2 o'clock every day. And she's like, I know we got to work on maintenance. It feels boring, but I'm seeing these small little shifts. Like, oh, I'm waking up and I'm feeling a little bit more ready to do some of these things. And so maintenance first, so that we only have to do fat loss once. And that's my biggest thing is I don't want to repeat the pattern that you've already been doing. We have to form some new patterns, and using data to guide those patterns will allow you to actually set maintenance. And the second piece there is you have to call it maintenance. We're not going to call it anything other than like, we're going to sit and do this thing so that we learn how to do it. And I think that's the hard part. There are some other coaches or programs that'll be like, oh, we're going to call this like a recomp period or whatever. And I can't guarantee it's going to be anything other than us learning how to eat well and feed ourselves regularly for the first time. Sometimes that happens, but we're going to call it maintenance. And we're sitting here and we're going to learn how to eat like an adult in a scary world where highly processed foods are coming at you all the time. And then when you go, oh, wow, this is how it feels to like fuel myself regularly and sleep regularly, fat loss is significantly easier.
100%. And I think what surprises so many women, I know you've seen it with your clients, I know I've seen it with mine, is those biofeedback markers that they get. Now let's touch on when we're in maintenance. Like, it's not a free for all. I work with your coach, Mickey Stillman. She's great. And I know one of her lines that I've stolen, 100% stolen, was the only thing that's different really is the quantity of food when you're in a deficit, when you're doing fat loss, or maybe you're in a muscle build, not the quality of food. Not that we have to be perfect. Like, I have had a cookie every morning since I baked them, and I am not a baker. So I was so proud that I baked cookies and like literally with my coffee. I just did a deficit with her where I'm in a show. Also an actor outside of a nutrition coach. I had to eat 4 donuts, had to, because it was in my character ate a show. And literally in my chronometer, there was show donut. And I'm like, look, you can see progress and not be, white knuckling chicken breast, iceberg lettuce smoothies. Let's talk about the quality of food that you expect your clients or that you recommend just people to eat for the most part.
Totally. So first of all, yes, Mickey, y'all. Mickey is on my team. Mickey is the perimenopause whisperer. She is absolutely the best. Okay, when we're eating in maintenance, I don't think there's a lot of bad foods, guys. There are just foods that help serve your goals, and there are foods that maybe just fill your soul goals, but maybe don't serve like nutrition goals at that time. And Kristin, I'm with you. My in-laws love to bake, and I'm living very close to them. And because I have a gluten and dairy allergy, they go, oh, we'll make 200 cookies of gluten and dairy for us, but Laura doesn't have any cookies. And then they will make me my own couple dozen batch of cookies that are the gluten-free, dairy-free version. And then I'm like, well, can't not eat them. So I have been, I've been like, these were made specially for me. An entire tray of brownies just for me because you guys had the ones with the butter in them. So, but when we think about the reason why we go through the maintenance phase is figuring out what 80-20, 90-10, 75-25 looks like for you. So you're going to develop your own personal, we call it a meal blueprint. Well, what does regular eating breakfast, lunch, dinner look like? Breakfast, lunch, dinner for me looks pretty much the same year round, whether I'm in a build phase, performance maintenance, or fat loss phase. What changes is how we adapt them or judge them based on the season. And so for me, I have chocolate in my diet 24/7, 365. Well, I mean, it's 24/7, but like 7 days a week.
Right. It's your joy. It brings you joy. Why would you let go of something that brings you joy? We're about life.
Exactly. That and a latte, they don't go away. But in a fat loss phase, I might not have like a half a bar of chocolate. I might have like 1 or 2 squares off the bar. And it goes, how do I shrink my normal go-to breakfast or my normal go-to lunch to fit that kind of same dietary pattern? And in a fat loss phase, maybe it's 80-20 for me. It's about 80-20-ish is about where I can be satiated and not feel really hungry. That's maintenance. But in fat loss phase, I might go to like 95-5 because it makes it easier to stick to the calorie target. It's like, okay, you know what? As much as I'd like to have those mini cupcakes, that mini cupcake takes up 20% of my meal at dinner. And that's not going to the ROI is not, but it's at that point, it's intentional choice. Not that I can't have it. I can choose to have it, but I also understand that by maybe taking a little rice or potatoes off my plate in order to make a piece of a cupcake fit, it's just not going to have the satiety value that I want. And so that's partly why we go through these maintenance phases, because you can experience that. You have a little more flexibility. There are times in the summer, in what I call farmer's market season, I will many times at lunch, and I'll post on my Instagram, you will see like grilled chicken thighs, shishito peppers, not a carb in sight, but there is a cupcake as my lunch. And I'm like, I ate this. This is a 60-40 meal. It is delicious. And I'm going to be hungry before dinner. It's going to feel like I ate a fat loss meal because there's not a lot of satiety value to that delicious farmer's market cupcake. but it's also kind of making some of these intentionality decisions. And so, but when you start to understand that, I don't always choose a whole cupcake at lunch. I'm like, okay, I really need some potatoes. So I'm going to cut that cupcake in half and have a half a cupcake or a quarter cupcake with the potatoes, and understanding how that interplay is on the satiety side. So be like, okay, yeah, this makes maintenance easier when I can make choices that further those goals. But
Okay, so you mentioned 80-20, 95-5, right? We're back.
yeah. Oh,
We're back into the math. And this is where I have found for myself both this and like tracking other things, like tracking steps, right? I was someone who was like, hey, I'm a really active person. I'm working out. I'm playing tennis. Tennis is my drug of choice. I played probably too much tennis, but I was like, I'm great. And then it was like late 40s when things kind of like, I say content started shifting mid-flight, things are changing. And I realized, okay, oh shit, I'm getting 5,000 steps total. I'm not as active as I thought because I'm sitting in my butt. And then when I started tracking food, I'm like, I'm eating 80-20. And I was like, the chips and salsa for lunch did not 80-20 you. Like you have actual facts, right?
yeah.
So for that woman who gets like all tight when you say tracking, like in this situation, how does tracking help take that emotional, like, a fact is not a feeling. Like, I love that it helps. Yeah.
Yes.
Can we get into that a little bit? How it can be a pro rather than this restrictive, judgy thing,
Yeah. So I'm going to give some really round
Yeah.
numbers because public math. All right.
Like-
Let's assume that we've decided that your maintenance is about 2,000, 2,100. All right. So if you come to me at the end of the day,
Yeah.
Kristin, and you're like, man, Laura, I've been really hungry this week. Things are not like, I feel like I'm, am I in a deficit actually? Like, what's going on? I'm really hungry. I know these are supposed to be my maintenance calories. And we pulled up your food box, and Kristin's got her leftover Christmas cookie at breakfast. And then she's got her chicken with a side of chips and salsa for lunch because cooking is canceled. We cooked.
Kristen's having a day.
Yeah. And then maybe dinner, she's like, oh, okay, well, I've had like protein today and I'm going to have a steak, and like, oh yeah, we have a little leftover cheesecake, an oversized cheesecake. So what I like to do is go, okay, technically, yeah, you had a protein and a vegetable at every single meal. And that oftentimes feels like 80-20. So I use Chronometer for tracking just because it's very easy to parse these things out. You can go in Chronometer and shift select. So select multiple items. You select the cookie, we selected the chips, we selected the cheesecake. And we go, this cookie, cheesecake, and chips adds up to 750 calories. Kristin ate, oh shit, I said I wasn't going to be public now. 65-35 today, I think.
That's pretty close.
Maybe.
2,000, yeah.
Yeah. When we look at them, okay, what are some shifts we can make to do that? And it's going, okay, perception is everything, right? Let's break down Kristin's breakfast. So Kristin had, what do you do for breakfast?
Me? Normally. I get eggs.
Yeah.
I use some Dave's 21 grain whole, my fiber there. Sometimes there's an Alyssa's cookie with the coffee earlier. There's usually maybe a little avocado. There's some chicken sausage. Yeah.
Okay. So Kristin's breakfast is 700 calories.
Yes. It is.
Yes.
It is.
All right.
I
So,
can show you.
But remember, but remember, she already just ate a Christmas cookie in here, right? And so we've got a slice of bread, 2 eggs, and breakfast sausage, and a Christmas cookie. And you go, oh, well, that's pretty well, like just the side of a cookie. But we start to break down the math of that. Well, those Christmas cookies that are full of butter and delicious, that are basically like a delivery vehicle for butter. That's maybe 200 of those 700 calories. So like on the plate, all this nice whole food is taking up so much space, and this cookie is taking up a little bit of space. And you're like, oh, that's 90-10 or 80-20. Like I'm totally got a well-rounded breakfast. But when we break down the actual caloric value of what that is, you're like, ooh, I am 65-35, 70-30. And that's the little observation piece that we can look at to be like, wait, how do we tweak this so that maybe you do keep the cookie at breakfast? But you're like, I'm gonna skip the chips at lunch because I already had that cookie at breakfast. The chips, who cares? Like I can buy chips any season of the year. Like they don't do nothing for me, and I can go to the store and buy them. But the Christmas cookies right now, and so that piece of observational data where you go, okay, well, my assessment is like, no wonder I was hungry because I ate 65-35. And I really don't have the bandwidth to do that. I know that I feel my best the days that I've kind of like, assess like, hey, this was a 5 out of 5 day. I'm feeling great. Biofeedback's great. Or when I'm closer to 80-20. And we go 80-20 for you, Kristin, as well. Okay, I got about 400 fun calories to play with. So that's not going to be a cookie and a large slice of cheesecake and chips.
No.
But it might be a cookie and a small piece of
Yeah.
cheesecake, or a cookie and a few chips. And so finding out what that balance is for you, and there can always be trade-offs. You can still be like, okay, I know that I'm not going to feel my best, but I kind of want to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a choice you
Right.
can make and totally be fine with it, but also understand that the trade-off of the cheesecake and the chips and the cookie is like, I'm going to feel like I'm in a little bit of a deficit, even though I'm not, because I'm not getting the satiety value from that food. And so that's why the data tracking piece can be so empowering, because now you can make an informed decision
Yeah.
about it.
And I love what you said. Like, here you're talking about these foods like cookie, cheesecake, chips, and you're like, I'm going to feel like I'm in a deficit. And I think because you're so in tune with how food makes you feel, how it fuels your life. I know so many women just who are finally like coming to work with you, coming to work with me. I feel like my clients are like, I've had it. I've lost the same 20 pounds up and down. I'm ready for the long haul. And that's one of the first things when they start tracking, they go, oh, where before they would have been like, I was so bad. I ate so, I was bad. And now I have to eat less. They now go, oh no, that did not fuel me the way I wanted it to, because they can go back and look. They're like, I was actually hungry rather than full. And it starts all making sense. And food stops becoming this enemy, like, for lack of a better phrase. For me, I'm like, oh my, like you said, how much can you actually, we're all surprised how much we can eat. Now, the one thing I want to touch on that you just said too, you're like, for you. You kept using the phrase for you. And I believe I'm going to butcher one of your guys' taglines because I went to look for it and I couldn't find it. It's like data driven, is it person test?
Human
Perfected. And I love that you said for you, because everyone's different. There is no one size fits all. And how does tracking help the individual? Because a lot of people now are signing up for programs and they're plugging you into a macro calculator that anyone can do, and they're spitting out, not everyone's the same, How does tracking help the individual actually meet her goals?
There's a huge individual variance, guys. And if you have the reason why, and I do it the first week of any group cohort that we start, I go, hey, how many of you have opened up a calorie calculator on the internet and started eating that and felt, oh my God, this is way too much food for me, or oh my God, I like ate all my calories by lunch. It 10 out of 10 hands are raised. And that's because they don't tell you when you go plug in all your data in here, and that's assuming you actually plugged it in correctly or like self-identified as an active person when you are an active person, is the confidence interval on any of those calculators is just under 400 calories. That means if it tells you that your maintenance, Kristin says, hey, for your stats, you must eat 2,051 calories. What it really means is that we're 95% confident that your maintenance calories are 1,650 to 2,450. But it don't put that in your results. It says 2,050. And so you go and eat 2,050 and maybe like, I'm really struggling in this. This kind of feels like it's hard to hit. Plus, you don't have the foundation to understand this whole 80-20 conversation we just had. So you have to figure out what your maintenance calories are, and also what your kind of like, hey, what's 80-20 to me? And I will say that individual variance is very, very high. If I were to go, we had our whole team do it. If I were to eat at any TD calculator, I would be in a like 500 calorie deficit, which is just terrible. But then Mickey on the team, if she were to go eat a TD calculator, she would be in a surplus. So it's a very strong individual variance. And then what is required for, I think when we think about the data side too, is it doesn't, I'm not going to say the calories don't matter. The calories matter, but when you are getting started, again, the audience we're talking to is the ones who like, I've only ever tracked for a deficit. It is really hard to track to a number until you know how to feed yourself. I'll be honest, like having a calorie number per day is really, really tough to hit. Targets are hard to hit if you don't know how to feed yourself. And so I like to start with the principle is like, hey, you're not getting a target till you work on breakfast, lunch, and dinner and eating 3 meals a day and starting to hit protein. And then we back into, okay, well, what did you eat for 2 weeks? And if you've got some highs and low days, we're like, okay, well, let's just start narrowing the window here. I think of another client we worked with last year. She brought up her food. She's like, she was eating, and this is something that maybe your life too. You're like, man, I'm just eating all this calorie, and I just feel like I'm hungry and I'm not eating it, but I'm eating my maintenance calories. And she wasn't eating cheesecake. She wasn't eating chips. But breakfast was a yogurt bowl, and then she had like a smoothie at lunch, and then like a big salad for dinner, and then like some less. So a lot of healthy, a lot of nutrient-dense foods, but a lot of liquids. And so for some people, and this is like that for you conversation, some people can eat a yogurt bowl and be satiated for hours. Some people can eat a yogurt, but I can't eat yogurt because I'm allergic to dairy. But when I do dairy-free yogurt, I'm like, that did nothing for me. Where's the real food? And so I said, Karen, I just can't do maintenance. I'm failing at maintenance. I'm hungry all the time. And so we gave her a couple swaps. So I said, hey, Karen, let's just swap this breakfast, like for Kristen's breakfast. We're gonna do the eggs and sausage on toast and see what happens. And then maybe for lunch, like let's do your big salad that you do at dinner. Let's do that for lunch and then play without something. She comes back next week. She goes, oh my God, I can't eat maintenance. It's so hard. This is so much food. And it's like, okay, so we just ate. Like she's eating the same amount of calories, two entirely different responses. And so when we learn how to feed ourselves and like go through this self-data evaluation of like high-satiety foods or low-satiety foods, like what days we're working for and whatnot, and we apply that framework, you can make some seismic change. And that's why the 4U matters so much, because some people can really get away with 70-30 at maintenance. Some people really struggle and really need to be closer to 90-10. But when you go through this process of going, how do I feel satiated? Once I know what maintenance calories are, you can look at the data and be like, okay, well, that's what I need for me and my needs.
That is great. So speaking of 4U, over at Elevated Pursuit Nutrition, you have different cohorts that people can go into, right? So it's not,
Yes.
once again, the thing about your coaching that's wonderful, it's not a one size fits all, plug you into a group. Can you really quick, what are the options at Elevated Pursuit Nutrition, and where can women find you online, on the internet, to find out more about you and what you all do?
So we have a great team of 5 coaches, all with kind of different specialties. To be honest, if you vibe with me, or if you don't vibe with me, but you vibe with Mickey, you should be with Mickey. Or if you don't vibe with me and you vibe with Kristen, you should be with Kristen. Like, we do believe the right personality fit is so important. And so we each have kind of 5 different specialties. So like Mickey, again, perimenopause, whisper, big sister energy. And so we do each have a cohort that we lead. So Mickey's got a 6-month perimenopause and muscle building.
And did you guys hear that? 6 months, not 6 weeks, not 28 days, not 30 days, 6 months. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, and you bank on the first 3 months of just figuring out maintenance, to be honest. That's what they all are. And so in that same vein, if you are a younger client and you have young kids, Carly on my team does a 3-month Mom Strong, which is just like, how do I refine myself? How do I build some of the structure that we're talking about when it comes to society? How do I feed myself 3 times a day when I've got a toddler and a 4-year-old and I'm just trying to like make it through? And then Laura and Kate on my team really focus on our performance athletes. So we've got another 6-month performance. So for the runners, for the hikers, for the cyclists who are working on, hey, I need to build muscle in the off season. I need to build my base for fall and summer races. That one's for them. And then I personally coach just pure muscle building. So if you want to dig into the nerdy data side of lifting and being in a surplus, that's a whole nother animal for
I can see women going,
months.
oh my God, maintenance. I've just started coming around to maintenance. Now you're talking surplus, but
it's the advanced group, I'll call it. And I do a men's and a women's group. So I have pretty much all the husbands of all of our clients in one. And then the ladies who don't find themselves in other categories are open to eating a little bit more for quite a few months on end up being in my ladies group.
You'd be surprised how many women, once you embrace maintenance, you will find yourself listening to the siren's call of a surplus and a lean muscle build. Like, I know I for someone who was scared of lifting weights 5 years ago, that was like, no, I will run, I will do everything. Now I'm like, and also your other program, the Practical Athlete, which I love. It's also out there for those of you who want to have an online strength building program. You could probably describe it more than I do, though I do it. And it makes me feel like a professional like I've joked in those accessory workouts. I'm like a professional tennis player, at least with my bands in the gym, if not on the court.
We also write the Practical Athlete programming. So it's a 3-day-week program to help you get strong, be mobile, and in and out of the gym in less than 4 hours a week. And so it's a lot of fun. All the coaches follow it. Kristen follows it. Our muscle build people, our maintenance people, and our fat loss people.
With not
all
a lot
follow
of
the same
volume, it
programming.
has changed. I finally have, you can't say I have a big ass baggy sweater on right now, but I'm like, shoulders, muscles. I had to get a new t-shirt. I was like, and I was someone who always told herself like, well, you have really strong legs, but you don't have upper body strength. You're just not that person. And I was like, oh, because you also weren't lifting weights and trying to build any muscle. But it is wonderful. I highly, highly recommend it. Laura, thank you so much for taking this time and chatting with me. I appreciate you being a guest on this podcast. And everyone, go find Laura, go find Elevated Pursuit Nutrition and the Practical Athlete, and give them a follow.
Thank you so much for having me, Kristen.